Hello world, Shelly here, and it's time for another episode of Foundation Fest. And today I'm coming at you from Galway, Ireland with the 17 Second Skin Enhancing Foundation. Retails for €6.49, which is about $7 US right around now for 1 ounce or 30 milliliters of product. This comes in 20 different shades, and the 17 brand is a Boots brand. If you're not familiar with Boots, this is my favorite place out here. It is like a cross between like Ulta and your favorite drugstore. They've got prestige makeup and drugstore makeup and all the drugstore stuff. I love Boots. Boots is my favorite. So 17 is a Boots brand that actually had been in existence from 1968 through 2018, and then they discontinued the brand. It's always been kind of touted as like number 7's cooler, younger sibling kind of a thing, but they discontinued it, and then in 2022, they brought it back with some rebranding and whatnot. So I've got their foundation here. It comes in 20 shades. I've got shade 3P. I do like that they number the shades from light to dark. So this is the third lightest shade. And then they use P for pink undertones, N for neutral undertones, and Y for yellow undertones. So it does make finding a shade fairly easy, though Boots also has testers for all their makeup, so it's fantastic. So let's take a look at shade 3P, swatched against the few foundations that I have with me here in Ireland. Swatch time. First up is today's foundation from 17, the Second Skin Enhancing Foundation in shade 3P. Second, I've got from Tower 28, the Tinted Sunscreen in 15 Melrose. And last, I've got from Guerlain, the Terracotta La Tint in shade 2C. I've already cleansed, moisturized, and sunscreened this 48-year-old face. I'm not wearing explicit primer. I've been using my handmade Corky Creators Bakuchiol cream as my primer, and it will be restocked when I get home from this trip, end of July. And so that is all I'm wearing as primer. Let's take a look at the consistency here. I left my cute little butterfly palette at home, womp womp, but it's fairly thick on the consistency spectrum. I will go in on one side of my face with a damp sponge. The other side, I've got my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. We will see if one way or the other works better. They say this is medium coverage. They also say it's for all skin types. Now, I looked through the ingredients. It does have talc, so if you are avoiding talc, then this one's not for you. And they call it skin enhancing, and the only thing I could really find that was anything novel, or not even novel, that's not even the right word, it's got hyaluronic acid in it. So hyaluronic acid is really good in normal to humid environments because it can hold many times its own weight in water, so it can help retain water in the surface of your skin. But in dry climates, it can actually pull moisture out of your skin. So you do want to be careful if you live in drier climates. I'm in Ireland right now, so no problems on that front. Here we are with one pass. Let me get my little, I don't have my 10X mirror here, sadly, but I do have this cute little travel mirror that I'm going to try not to totally block your face. I would say pretty light coverage with one pass and the sponge. We are getting a little bit of redness correction. There could be a little bit more. We'll try building this up. We'll see if the brush makes any kind of difference with this one. Let's try the brush side. Yeah, the jury's out with talc. There's 2020, there was a study where they sampled a bunch of cosmetic products that contained talc and found them that a number of them were contaminated with asbestos and carcinogenic types of ingredients, and that's bad. Cancer-causing things. But there have been more recent studies that have done similar sampling and not found any contamination. But, you know, it's pretty hard to recover from bad press like that. And until organizations are better at testing these things and keeping bad ingredients out, this is just, you might want to avoid it if you're avoiding these things. So there's that. There's a brush application. Let me grab my trusty mirror here. Oh, I think I like this better with the brush. Yes, I think it looks more smooth on the brush side and slightly more coverage. Slightly, as expected, slightly more coverage with the brush. So I'm going to take what I've got left on the back of my hand and try and even out coverage on my sunspots here. This is the driving side of my face when I wore no sunscreen for 10 years commuting an hour each way to work. Wear your sunscreen, people. Wear your sunscreen. Get my blue blood vessel over here. Now, I'm using my phone, which is filming me as my mirror on my application here. So, I know, it looks weird. It looks like I'm staring at you. I'm sorry. I don't have my fancy camera or any of that with me. I have a cute little ring light and a cute little phone holder on a tripod. But, you know, travel filming is an experience of its own, right? All right, let's get a look in here. I would call this a matte finish. It is, yeah, it's pretty matte. It's the kind of matte where I feel like I'm going to need to bring a little bit of life back into my skin. I didn't quite bring it up as concealer today. Should we do that? I've been doing that lately. I have not been wearing concealer on a regular basis. Let's just put a little bit and we'll at least see. You know, it's just like skipping a step, you know, saves a smidgen of time. And, you know, I never have enough time, so. Anytime I can save a step makes me happy. All right, let's take a look here. My concern is this might be a little bit too matte to use as concealer for me, but maybe not, maybe not. I have this little blemish down here, my little friend that joined me once I got here in Ireland. The change in water, I think, is what typically messes up my skin for like the first 10 days. If I go anywhere long term, I feel like it happens. Even a 5-day trip, like it happens when I go to Las Vegas. It happens when I'm here. It happened in North Carolina on the trip I took right before I came here. So it's just one of those things. My skin doesn't adjust very quickly to changes in water. But, all right, I'm looking in my little mirror here. I can't really zoom in. I was gonna say let's zoom in and get a look, but I can't really zoom in because I don't have my fancy camera with me. So I'm just gonna bring my face up here and give you guys a look. It is really smooth looking on my texture, and I would say it's even doing a little bit to blur pores, which is a nice surprise. I mean, this is a fairly inexpensive, you know, I would equate this to like Wet n Wild in the US is where I would put this on the spectrum of like their offerings and their price range. And okay, do I like it more than the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator? Absolutely not, because I love a dewy finish. That's just purely finish. That's, you know, I don't reach for matte as often as I reach for something luminous. But that's where I would rank this one. So here's where we're starting out. It is 12:13 p.m. Let me go put the rest of my face on and I will be right back. Back with the 17-second skin. I have to say I am quite impressed at how smoothing this is. I mean, this is the textured side of my face. This is the better side of my face, which looks beautiful. But even this side, now it is a little dry. Like I already have the drag lines from my dehydration coming out, and you know, matte foundations are a tough sell on this dehydrated face, but this is a quite smoothing formula. Like I'm kind of surprised. I'm quite surprised. Anyway, I think if I was at home and had all my products here with me, I would probably apply like a dewy setting spray over this just to give it a little bit more life, because there's like no reflect at all. The only reflect you're seeing is the highlight that I put on, which they don't make it anymore. It's the Laura Geller. This is the Diamond Dust. Yeah. I recently found it in my stash and forgot about it, and it was my favorite for so long. And so that's really the only reflect you're getting. Like, you're really not getting any light bounce anywhere else on my face. And to me, I like a little bit of dimension, a little bit of reflect, a little bit of, you know, the high points, giving you some life and dimension in your face. It helps with your structure. That's how I like my makeup. So this one's a little bit flat for my taste. I usually do not use setting spray in my reviews because I want everything as, you know, apples to apples as possible. But I think if I was at home, I would probably throw a dewy setting spray on top of this one. But very, very smooth looking, like shockingly smooth looking, I would say, for this one. No trouble applying anything else. If you caught my video on the makeup I brought with me, you're going to see these same things over and over again. I've got the Flower Beauty Heat Wave Bronzer, Lawless Blush in Watermelon. The highlight I showed you. My eyes are the Alter Ego Coastal palette. This one is a Huda Beauty dupe. I have an eye look with this palette on my channel from a couple months ago if you are interested. My mascara is the Revlon So Fierce Eyes Wide Open. This is their CBD formula. Oh, I did put a little bit of the Profusion Bling It On glitter liner as kind of just an eyeshadow topper. Get these if you can. They're hard to find online now. I will link them below if I can find them, but every time I've tried to link them lately, they are gone. Check your local CVS. That's where I got all of the shades of mine. I love these. I bought them all. I've got all of them with me. Highly recommend. They're pretty cool and reasonable. So grab them if you can. What am I missing? Brows. Arches and Halos pencil in Espresso, and my Lawless Soft Set Brow Wax, and my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Freeze. And my lip is a combination of the Color Street. This is the pH activated tinted lip balm because my lips were dry. This was a limited edition version that they did for Pride Month, and it appears purple. It still shows up. It just looks pink. It like reacts with your body's pH to give you a good shade of pink. So that's my base. And then on top of that, I put the Lawless Forget the Filler. This is in Violet Bloom. It is like a lip plumping gloss. Not super, super burny, tingly or anything. It's quite comfortable actually. And it wears quite well, like time-wise. Like for a gloss, it can hang out for a few hours if you're talking, drinking out of your water bottles, etc. So that's what I got going on my face right now. Normally I would say I'm gonna go get a sandwich, but today I think I'm going to go to my favorite pizza place here in Galway. It's Dough Bros. And I think I'm gonna go get me a pizza. They have this amazing pesto pizza that is just, oh, it's so good. I eat very well in Galway. So I'm gonna go hit up Dough Bros. I will take you around. I'll show you a little bit of Galway while we're out and about. I'll come back with a daylight check-in in a bit, and I will come back tonight, give you guys my final thoughts.
In my darkest hour, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words.
Hey guys, it's about 3 p.m. right now, and I just got a look at where we are at, and everything still looks good. I'm gonna jump into the full sun in a moment so you can see that, but still looking quite smooth. I think the shade match is just fine for me. All right, here we go. Let's get some sunlight. Here it is in full sun. I do think like my smile lines and forehead lines are a little bit more prominent, which tends to happen with, you know, the more dry matte formulas on me, but it's not bad. Nothing that alarms me. And that's where we're at right now. Here's our weather in Galway today. It started out a little rainy, but it's looking good now. And I pet a cat. All right, I will check back tonight and we'll see how this one ends up. 10:10 p.m. Let's take a look at how the 17 foundation held up. I wish I checked in a couple hours ago when I was thinking about it, and then I was gonna just wait, and I didn't. So the lighting is terrible because it's getting dark out here. But overall, I mean, I'm looking close up in my mirror here. It held up pretty well. Now I did have to blow my nose and a lot of product came off. So it does not hold up to transfer resistance all that well. I'm missing some coverage on my chin, but the smoothing effect that had been going on all day is still very much in effect. Pores and texture, like to quite a degree. Like, I'm really surprised. Let me get you as close here as I can. I mean, pretty good, right? Now I am noticing a bit more reflect. I'll get back and you can kind of see reflect on my cheeks, reflect on my forehead. So it has gotten a bit more, I would say, dewy. It's not greasy. Like, I'm not feeling anything on my fingers, but it did not remain matte, although it is still a bit dry. Like, I just have the drag lines kind of happening. So overall, I feel like it's one of the drier side of a matte formula, but not so dry that I'm uncomfortable. I don't feel itchy. I don't feel tight. I don't feel like I want to wash it off. Like, there's no discomfort in wearing it. It just looks a little bit dry. We're around 10 hours now, so I would say it holds up pretty well over time, with the exception of the transfer issue. Like, you can see, like, my nose is like bare down to the redness of my skin. And I only blew my nose one time. I forgot my Claritin. When we went up to Derry for 5 days, I left my Claritin at the apartment in Galway. Whoopsie. And I didn't buy any more because I kept forgetting. And so you know how it takes like a week for it to feel like it's really in you? Well, now it's really out of me. So my allergies are not as bad here in Galway as they are back in the States, but there's still a little bit, as you can probably hear in my voice. But I think this held up really well. And I feel like it looks nice. It's nicely smoothing if you've got texture issues. I didn't have any issues with settling into lines or caking up. Like, this one surprised me. If I had to give a grade to the 17 Second Skin Enhancing Foundation, I'm gonna go A-. Bravo. I think it sells for like £5, 6.49 euros. About $7 USD, but I don't think you can buy it in the US. I think you have to be able to access Boots, which is EU, UK, out this way. But anyway, if you can get your hands on it, it's a pretty good bargain, pretty good bargain. I would say it's definitely up there with the Wet n Wild. It's definitely up there. There you have it. Another episode of Foundation Fest is in the books. If you like foundation reviews, if you had fun with this one, give me a thumbs up down below. Let me know in the comments, what would you like to see next? I keep a running list. I buy them whenever I can. I have, 3 or 4 or 5 foundations here that I picked up here in Ireland that I will be reviewing, some of which you can get in the States, some of which you can't. So those will be coming soon as well. Let me know what you would like to see. I keep a list and I buy when I can. As always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate your time and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.